What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Kid Taj, and I think it was yesterday, one of the days, yesterday or Wednesday, we got some pretty bad news. Milwaukee Bucks guard Khris Middleton is supposedly to be sidelined for 6 months with a torn hamstring. At least that's per the report I read in Bleacher Report, or it was on Bleacher Report. I read an article about it, but he's injured. He's gonna be out a while, and this is actually a huge hit to the Milwaukee Bucks' chances of getting into the playoffs next year. And it's just awful because Khris Middleton is one of those up-and-coming young shooting guards with so much potential to be great in this league. He can be so much more than just a 3-and-D wing player because he's got a full scoring arsenal. He could be a 20 points per game scorer at his full potential, or more than that. He can do all the things that you want him to do in terms of putting the basketball in the basket. He's a great shooter, and he can be a top shooting guard in the NBA, and he already is a top 10 shooting guard in the NBA, but he really can elevate into that top 5, maybe even top 3 conversation before it is all said and done. I know that might be stretching it a little bit. I know we have some elite shooting guards in the NBA, but what I'm saying is that this guy had a lot of potential. He's very young, but he's gonna get better. He's gotten better every season, and this just hurts because this is a guy you wanted to see play more and advance on his path to greatness, and this is gonna really delay it. So 6 months out. And right now it's September, so I'm not going to do the math. Let's see. I'm just going to count this. October, November, December, January, February, March. So he could come back around March, maybe earlier if he's lucky, but he's going to sit out most of this upcoming NBA season, which just sucks. It's weird because a torn hamstring is not something that I really expected to take you out for this long. But wow, that's a lot of time. It's gonna be bad, but the thing this is the worst for is the Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, because he's a very significant player. He plays a large and important role for that team. Last season, it wasn't really clear what the status of the team was, what they were trying to do. Giannis was, everything was focused around Giannis. They wanted to give him the ball, let him play the point guard. At least, toward that end of the season, that second half of the season, they were really urging him to take that leap and become a dynamic 6'11" ball handling monster, because that's what he could be. And the team is really based around Giannis. Obviously, they inked that new deal with Giannis. I think it's 4 years, $100 million? 4 years, I think? I don't know. But they just inked a new deal. I have a video on that. Check that out if you haven't seen it. But Khris Middleton is like the second guy. He's like the second best player on this team. He's their main shooter, okay? And they're lucky that they were able to bring Matthew Dellavedova over, because if they didn't bring over Matthew Dellavedova from Cleveland, they didn't sign him in the offseason, they would have absolutely no outside shooting whatsoever. Almost as bad as Chicago they would be, honestly, because look at what their roster was last year. Their starting lineup, they had Michael Carter-Williams, Khris Middleton, Giannis, Jabari Parker, and Greg Monroe as their starting 5. And if Middleton's injured, and I don't know who you'd substitute. I don't even know who I guess now they're just gonna substitute not Middleton. He's injured. They'll substitute Matthew Dellavedova in at shooting guard, so they'll have a lineup probably consisting of Giannis, Dellavedova, Michael Carter-Williams, Parker, and Monroe. That's not in position because Michael Carter-Williams obviously won't play small forward, but he was gonna come off the bench. I thought maybe. I actually don't know because I don't really know what the stock is with Michael Carter-Williams, but Khris Middleton's injury is little less painful now that they have Matthew Dellavedova, believe it or not, because he's actually a very good three-point shooter. He shot, I believe, over 40% last season, but he's not a shot creator type. They don't have a guy like that now. They don't have a guy that can just pull up and shoot. They have 0 players on their roster that can create a mid-range jump shot or create a three-point jump shot with the dribble. Khris Middleton was pretty efficient with creating shots off the dribble last season, and they got rid of Jared Bayless, which I know he was pretty inefficient. OJ Mayo, y'all should know what happened to OJ Mayo. He's gone for 2 years because of his drug thing. They don't have any type of depth. Okay, you know what? Rashad Vaughn. That is the answer. I'm just figuring this out now because I'm just contemplating the whole situation in my head now. Rashad Vaughn is going into, I believe, his 3rd season in the NBA, and this is a guy that I believe has so much potential to be a starter in the NBA, and he's going to get some starts next year. I can feel it. I mean, this guy is like a straight scorer, Bradley Beal type shooting guard. Get your shot. He can shoot from anywhere on the court. He can finish at the rim. He can handle the ball and play off the ball, so he can kind of play combo, I guess. So that he can actually fill that role, but I don't know if he's really experienced, polished enough to be that starting shooting guard. Either way, I don't see any way this team makes the playoffs if he's going to be their go-to pull-up scorer type player, because, I mean, it's just not a lot of depth at those guard spots. Honestly, unless you want Giannis running your point guard all season long, I guess that wouldn't be a terrible idea, but, you know, the guard depth is still an issue, especially with the shooting. Khris Middleton's injury, it really hurts. And I didn't even have this team making the playoffs anyway. In my predictions video that got 5,000 views. Thank you guys so much for that, by the way. I have 5,000 views on my Eastern Conference predictions video, which is absolutely fantastic. But honestly, I didn't have Milwaukee. I think I had them, 10th place in the Eastern Conference before this. And they had some talent on their team. Now they lost Middleton, who I believe is their second best player, second most valuable player on their team. And it really derails their chances next year, because Giannis literally has to do everything now. You didn't have a second guy that you could just say, okay, do some work for us. Jabari Parker is going to have to take a step forward. He really will. And it's going to be scoring the ball, handling the ball. He's going to have to take that next step. I know he came in the league as a 2nd overall pick, and before the ACL injury, he looked pretty good. He looked like he had a shot at getting into that star caliber range. But right now, I mean, he's not there. He's not a star in the league right now. And I don't know, he didn't average a whole lot of points last season, so he needs to take a leap this season. It has to be this year, because Middleton is out, meaning you don't have the same ball handling and shot creating capabilities you had in the past. Michael Carter-Williams, I don't think that Jason Kidd wants him to create your shots. I'm sorry, no offense to Michael Carter-Williams, but he's just not gonna work out in the end. I just don't see it happening. He peaked in his rookie year, just like a lot of other players. I'm talking about Tyreke Evans, most of all. If y'all know what rookie season he had, unbelievable, actually. OJ Mayo, same thing, who actually, he should be on their team. But, yeah, I'm talking about Michael Carter-Williams. He peaked in his rookie season. He had a decent second year as soon as he got traded to Milwaukee. He was only putting up really good numbers, I think, probably because he didn't have any help on his team. He was doing it all by himself. But now he's on a legit squad with legit NBA talent. Giannis Antetokounmpo runs the show. He is going to have a monster year next year. Expect crazy stats from that guy, because they want the ball in his hands all the time. And Jabari Parker, he's got to carry some of the load. Giannis cannot do it all by himself. If they want any shot at getting into the playoffs, Jabari Parker has to take the step. He has to. It is absolutely necessary, absolutely required of Jabari Parker to be a lot better this season than he was last season, because they need it. Now Khris Middleton's out. I don't even know when he'll come back. They'll probably have 20 games left of the season. It won't even matter if Jabari Parker doesn't take that next step, because they're just gonna have Giannis putting up 22 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists a game, something like that, and then the rest of the team is not really doing a whole lot, and they're losing a bunch of games, so they're gonna be out of the playoffs by then. So that's what's got to happen. It puts them in a really tough spot. It's a very unfortunate thing. That's going to wrap up this video about Khris Middleton. I apologize for the lack of highlights. I just, that you can't monetize highlights on YouTube, and I know I'm growing still, but it's still important that I can, get rid of some of that copyright stuff. So I hope y'all enjoy this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.